Trafficking in persons is an evolving transnational organized crime that requires cooperation amongst agencies and countries to prevent trafficking, protect victims, and prosecute offenders. You're watching NAPTIP On The Move. I'm Angela Agbegi. International cooperation in the fight against human trafficking enables information sharing, exchange of ideas, increased communication, and ultimately yields results. NAPTIP's Intelligence and International Cooperation Unit ensures effective partnership with international partners. Let's take a look at the operations of this unit. Don't go away, it's NAPTIP On The Move.
Partnership is one of the five-pronged approach employed by NAPTIP in the fight against human trafficking and violence against persons. Realizing that human trafficking is a transnational organized crime, cooperation with agencies and countries all over the world is inevitable.
The Intelligence and International Cooperation Unit, simply put in the agency as IICU, is saddled with the process of turning information into intelligence. And we have to do this because lives are involved in the job we do, and we cannot allow the officers of the agency to go ahead and carry out operations or investigations without having due diligence knowledge of where they are going to, who they are about to see. And so we sieve intelligence out of every information that comes into the agency. All of that falls within this unit, and when we are done with our gathering of intelligence and we are sure this is a case of human trafficking, we then do the needful by sending it to the relevant unit or department to carry on with the assignments. This process also assists the agency not to lose any manpower because lives are involved, like I say, and also for the victims to be timely rescued.
The unit works in partnership with several countries, agencies and organizations, which informs diverse projects and joint operations.
We collaborate with a lot of countries and a lot of sister agencies. This crime is clandestine, and no one country, no one agency, no one organization can fight the crime of human trafficking. You need all hands on deck if you must get results. We work very closely with the UK, we work with the Spanish, we work with the Netherlands, the Italians, the US, we work with even the African countries because our girls are really moving towards that area now. So many of them that we work with, and we've enjoyed a very good working relationship because there is no country that is free from human trafficking. And so as they collaborate with us to do this fight, they are also helping their countries to ensure that this fight is nipping the bud. The German embassy, they have been so cooperative with us in terms of achieving results as a unit. The joint operations we do with our partners, which has yielded a lot of fruits in the course of this job. We are also into a mutual legal assistance agreement where they can make requests to the agency, and of course the agency can also make requests to them on any information that we need. So some of the joint operations we've had is Operation Raina, where the operations were carried simultaneously at 2 different airports. And there's also the Operation Conqueror, the same thing. These operations were carried at the different airports in 3 states, in Spain, in Nigeria, and the third one was in UK. And because of the information we gathered, we are all on the same page. The operation was carried out at the same time, and the result was fabulous.
The collaborative effort with these stakeholders is yielding fruitful results.
We have achieved so much, but I'm going to narrow it down to what we have achieved this year. Already we have done some collaborations that has yielded very positive results, and we've done a lot of rescues already. So of recent, we had this rescue of 3 victims, Nigerian victims, and the news was out there. And because the news was out there, as I speak to you, we have rescued another 2, and we still have so many other rescues ongoing. So right now for India, we have 5. Libya, we rescued 2. Saudi is another popular axis, we rescued 1. The Cambodian cases are there, Burundi, Niger. There are so many countries that we have already done collaborations with this year, and rescues are there already speaking for us.
The International Organization for Migration is collaborating with NAPTIP to curb irregular migration.
The International Organization for Migration, IOM, in her engagement with NAPTIP, the lead agency on trafficking in Nigeria, actually engages across the 5 strategic areas that the agency has identified in her fight against trafficking in persons. And these areas are policy, partnership, protection, prosecution, and prevention. So basically our work cuts across these 5 areas. But speaking specifically on our engagement with the Intelligence and International Cooperation Unit, IOM in our work with NAPTIP in this regard focuses on 2 broad areas. The first one is with regards to facilitating the return, rehabilitation and reintegration of victims of trafficking that are Nigerian citizens, and also non-Nigerian citizens that are identified as victims of trafficking in Nigeria and need to be supported to be returned back to their countries of origin. Usually, we receive requests from NAPTIP of victims of trafficking that are Nigerian citizens that are in different countries that would like to return back to the country. And what happens when we have these requests is that we engage with the unit to ensure that the necessary coordination and cooperation that is required to facilitate such a process is put in place. And this involves, of course, engaging with the Nigerian mission in the country that the victim is currently at. Of course, IOM also engages with our mission in that country, engages with the Nigerian Immigration Service to be sure that proper identification is done, the required travel documents are provided, and then their return back to the country is facilitated. The unit also engages with other missions, that's other countries, through their embassies in Nigeria, to ensure that victims of trafficking that are identified in Nigeria, that are not Nigerian citizens, are also returned back to their country voluntarily after they have been rescued.
IOM is also partnering with NAPTIP to implement other projects.
The second aspect of our work with the unit is with respect to facilitating cooperation and coordination with other countries as it relates to enhancing the whole fight against trafficking. This would involve developing memorandum of understanding or different bilateral agreements with countries, and beyond these agreements is to see that they are actually operationalized. So basically seeing that whatever needs to be done to see that the objectives, the spirit behind these agreements are brought to life. And in this regard, we carry out different types of technical assistance to the unit, and this would include capacity building. This includes supporting peer-to-peer learning between the unit and their counterparts in other countries, and also ensuring study visits where necessary to enable them go to understudy the operations in other countries where they seem to be getting it right or doing it better than we are currently doing it in Nigeria. So in this area of work, we are currently working with the unit with regards to operationalizing the MOU that NAPTIP has signed with the counterpart agency in Niger. NAPTIP in Nigeria remains a strong partner for IOM with the work that we do, which is basically to ensure safe and orderly migration. With NAPTIP, IOM has found a solid and consistent partner in seeing that the overall objective of our mission is met because of the broad mandate that NAPTIP has with respect to victims of trafficking, or trafficking in general, which basically covers everything from investigation to prosecution to providing protection services to awareness raising. The whole 360 approach is all within the mandate of NAPTIP. And over the years, we have engaged in different capacity building processes. We have engaged in different areas of work that would ensure coordination and cooperation amongst all national actors when it comes to effectively addressing trafficking in Nigeria. And on our side as IOM, of course, we look forward to continued collaboration in all these areas. What we have so far has been an excellent partnership and relationship.
The United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, UNODC, is another dependable partner.
Human trafficking is part of transnational organized crime, and making it trans means that it's crossing borders. And that brings me to the issue of intelligence units and the international cooperation that we have. So if criminals can cross borders, then we also need to cross borders with our partnership drive and with the response that we are providing to countries. And so for us, the main determinant of supporting NAPTIP international cooperation unit is for us to be able to sustain some of the global tools, some of the global discussion around transnational organized crime, to ensure that when traffickers think that they have escaped and they have left Nigeria, there are actually eyes in the city of Europe that are looking at you and crossing the case that you have, and there is a referral process to ensure that those cases come back home. And we've seen such instances, because I remember that one of the cases the Liaison Magistrates Initiative brought was a Nigerian trafficker that was tried in France and was convicted, and then she has a lot of properties here in Nigeria. And so what UNODC did was, when the court paper, the judgment was brought, they were all in French, so we supported to interpret it into English so that it will be useful for the Nigerian courts here. And that was presented to the High Court as part of the documents to be used for forfeiture of assets for the trafficker. And we have talking about assets that are almost more than $10 million or worth of assets. So that's the kind of cooperation that we can do across the borders.
The UNODC collaborates with NAPTIP in organizing the quarterly embassy liaison meeting.
One of the things that we're also supporting NAPTIP currently, the International Cooperation Unit, is the embassy liaison meeting, and this is going to be supported every quarter. And the reason for this is that there is no case that is acting in isolation when it comes to external trafficking, because you know that we have internal trafficking and we have external trafficking. And then for the external trafficking, there is always a demand side and a supply side. So we are supplying, then there's a demand side, and everybody needs to understand and come to the table to discuss. And so this embassy liaison meeting is to bring together all the foreign missions that are in Nigeria, so that we can all discuss that, okay, this is a menace that we have found. We are losing people, and you also are losing a lot of resources being able to manage this situation. So how do we agree? How do we ensure that we keep traffickers out of the streets and from continuing to exploit people. And so that was one of the things that drove the embassy liaison meeting, and we had one in March, and the second one is going to be in June. And the one in March actually brought a lot of discussions, because we had different countries present how they perceive human trafficking, or how human trafficking manifests in their different countries. And it was very good to hear the different dynamics of human trafficking across the people that were seated in the room. And of course, everybody believes this is a very useful meeting of cooperation that will help NAPTIP and the international community to be able to combat human trafficking in Nigeria. And one of the things that the meeting has also done is to showcase the efforts the Nigerian government is doing. And that we're not just sitting down and not doing anything, but that we are doing a lot, because NAPTIP also did a lot of presentation, and there will be different presentations at different meetings to show the efforts NAPTIP is doing with their other stakeholders as well in combating human trafficking.
The Action Against Trafficking in Persons and Smuggling of Migrants, a TIPSOM project, is funded by the European Union and implemented by FIAP.
FIAP has assisted in fostering collaboration between NAPTIP and some foreign agencies like the Spanish National Police, the Netherlands National Police, and the European Union Border Agency, which is also known as Frontex. And I can tell you that within the last 2 years, we have trained 32 NAPTIP investigators across the 6 geographical zones on investigation, engaging the international experts, and this is also evident in the increase in the rate of investigation in the NAPTIP. And then we also, under the international cooperation as well, we have engaged the Dutch National Police to support and mentor NAPTIP investigators. And then one other important aspect of the support we've given to NAPTIP is the support for logistics and coordination, which also resulted in the arrest of 5 human traffickers. And one of the traffickers is a high-profile trafficker that has avoided arrest for the past 2 years. And with this support, we're able to engage the Spanish National Police and NAPTIP to arrest, and is also undergoing investigation, prosecution now. And then another thing that we also did was the support to one of our beneficiaries called NACTAL to establish West African Coalition Against Trafficking in Persons and Smuggling of Migrants, which is known as WATIPSIN. And with this, we are trying to look at how we can strengthen the collaboration at the regional level with other West African countries. So it was under this platform that 15 girls, Nigerian girls who are trafficked to Mali, we identified, and we supported the international intelligence unit of NAPTIP to rescue and repatriate the 15 girls. That was earlier this year.
The TIPSOM project has also provided equipment for NAPTIP and some other agencies.
In 2021, we donated forensic software for NAPTIP just to help them to improve their investigation. So we have been supporting NAPTIP, and we have also been providing some equipment, not just to the investigative department. We've also provided equipment in the intelligence gathering. We have some equipment provided for NAPTIP to assist them in gathering intelligence, not just to NAPTIP, but also beneficiaries. We have a Nigerian Immigration Service, we have Nigerian Police, and then this year we're having a Spanish software and database experts who will be coming to work with NAPTIP to mentor them on how to gather intelligence when it comes to the fight against human trafficking.
Partnership with these diverse stakeholders have contributed immensely to the protection of victims and prosecution of offenders.
The importance of collaboration cannot be overemphasized. There is this local saying that one hand, when you wash with one hand, it may be clean, but it cannot be as clean as when you wash with both hands. Human trafficking is clandestine. The network out there, the traffickers who are carrying out this perpetrators act, they are not sleeping. As we gather to brainstorm on how to move forward and get them arrested, they are also sitting and brainstorming on how they can move ahead without you getting them arrested. So if you do not collaborate, you cannot do much. So collaboration is very, very key in a fight like human trafficking. And for the agency and the unit in particular, or the agency in general, collaboration is what has brought us this far. We've collaborated with even NGOs, we collaborate with NGOs, we collaborate with everybody we can collaborate with, simply because we want to save lives and we want results. I would like to sincerely thank our partners. Without them, we won't have been able to do much. So I won't begin to list our partners now, they are enormous. But for all our partners out there, we thank them and we look forward to doing more collaborations with them.
The impact of partnership in the fight against human trafficking is enormous. This synergy has informed several policies, preventive and protection projects that are geared toward fulfilling the mandate of NAPTIP. NAPTIP On The Move is sponsored by the International Organization for Migration, IOM.
Indeed, without partnership, the fight against human trafficking cannot be achieved. The event segment will be on shortly. Stay with us. The Secretary on Education of the Catholic Secretariat of Nigeria, Reverend Father Augustine Okochi, paid a visit to the Director General of NAPTIP, Dr. Fatima Waziri Azi, with the intent to dialogue on a partnership between the Catholic Secretariat of Nigeria, CSN, and the agency. The partnership is geared towards the areas of the prevention of trafficking in persons through education activism for students, and how Catholic schools can benefit from it, given the increase of trafficking in persons and violence against persons in Nigeria. She highlighted some of the agency's partnerships with schools and assured that NAPTIP will collaborate with the Catholic Secretariat, with both parties reiterating their continuous support in the fight against trafficking and violence against persons in the country. The National Youth Service Corps NYSC members of the NAPTIP Community Development Service CDS Group, in partnership with the NAPTIP Lagos Command, organized an awareness campaign at the Alade Market, Ikeja. The campaign is aimed at educating the market populace on the dangers of human trafficking and irregular migration. The Corps members engaged buyers and sellers in the market. NAPTIP personnel from the Public Enlightenment Unit also educated the people on the consequences of human trafficking, the various forms of exploitation, the mandate of the agency, and of course various channels through which suspected cases of human trafficking could be reported. Information, education, and communication IEC materials such as flyers, fact sheets, red cards, posters, and wristbands were distributed in the market. Waste bins were also handed out by the Corps members. The Nigeria Immigration Service NIS Jigawa Command, in collaboration with Nigerian Police of Niger Republic, rescued and handed over 48 victims of human trafficking to NAPTIP. The victims who were heading to Europe are 46 Nigerians and 2 Ghanaians between the ages of 14 and 30. NAPTIP is currently conducting family tracing and family reunions, while further investigations are ongoing. At a federal high court sitting in Kano, Justice Jane Nyang has sentenced a 29-year-old Ghanaian, Bright Togwe, resident in Kano State, to 30 months in a correctional center without the option of fine for aiding the wrongful entry of a 14-year-old en route Kano State through Niger Republic and Libya. The Victim Story segment is up next. It's NAPTIP On The Move.
I'm from Rivers State, Aoda East. I'm 9 years old. My pastor's wife came to my mommy tell my mom that one of our friends that used to work, that him and her used to walk before, that one picking that she want me to go And my mommy now told my daddy. My daddy now say, Ada, she is good, let me go. My pastor's wife now called the woman. My mommy now tell her that let her put me in the school and do me well. Anything that I do that is wrong, let her call the pastor's wife on the phone or call her on the phone and tell her that she will console me and tell her what she will do. She now took me to her house and be flogging me. In a rich one day, I will now go to market. She now be finding her money. She now call her husband and ask him. My husband now say it's not him that took his money. He now ask me and I say it's not me. He now ask one of his children. Our children now say it's not them. That is me that took the money. And she now shut my bag, shut everything. She didn't see the money, and she now started to flogging me. Now say let me go and bring the money, and I didn't see any money. I tell her that I didn't see any money. She now put iron in the light, electric iron. The iron now hot. She now used to now press me. Now reaching the police station, I be now tell me that let me tell them that it's hot water. Let me tell them that I fall in the hot water, and I reach there and I tell them, and one people follow them, and that people now tell them that it's lies, that she had he's hearing when he's telling me that I fall in the hot water, that is lie, that is iron, that she plug iron and he stand and iron me. The people now carry me and I go in the other room. Now be asking me if I didn't talk the truth, that they will arrest me. And I tell them that she tell me that let me say that I fall in the hot water. Then I say okay, that they will arrest her. She now be begging. Then I say no, this one is not for begging. The police now invite my mother. I've been here for 2 days. I want to tell NAPTIP, thank you for arresting me.
For more inquiries and support, or to report cases of suspected human trafficking, violence against persons and child abuse, please call NAPTIP hotline 0703 0000203 or the short code 627, or email us info@naptip.gov.ng. Visit our website www.naptip.gov.ng. Follow us on our social media platforms at NAPTIP Nigeria, or watch our videos on YouTube.
It's time to go, but I must thank you for watching and urge you to keep a date with us next week. My name is Angela Adwegi. Bye for now.